Welcome to our cabinet meeting. As I said in my State of the Union address, I'm eager to work with both parties to deliver for all Americans. That's what we have to start doing. There's tremendous and quite unusual attitude on the other side. There's a lot of anger, and they're slipping extremely far left, and we don't want that to happen to our country. So we're working very hard with the other side, and hopefully positive things can take place. Since 1 in 3 women, as you know, are sexually assaulted on the long journey north. We want to stop that. We want to stop those journeys. The way you do that is with barrier security, a wall, and making a lot of progress. In fact, I noticed yesterday when I got to El Paso, they had signs, finish the wall instead of build the wall, because we're doing a lot of wall right now. Just started a big portion of the wall in the Rio Grande Valley, which is now the biggest area for people coming in. We've sealed up a lot of the areas where people come in, but they're looking for the soft spots, and they come up in a caravan and they look for the areas without any barrier, and that's where they like to come in, and we grab them, and it's a very tough situation. We could save billions and billions of dollars in cost, and hundreds of billions of dollars in drugs and what they're doing to us with drugs. And so much of it comes through. And don't believe people when they say it all comes through the portals. It doesn't. The ports of entry. It comes through, the big loads come through the border where you don't have wall, where they can drive a truck, a big truck loaded up with drugs or loaded up with, as they call it, human cargo. Human cargo. These are traffickers. These are the worst people on earth. And they don't come through the ports of entry with people in the back of a car tied up. You can never do that. They come through areas where there's no barrier. So we'll see what happens. I got reports last night when I was going out to speak. We had, by the way, a massive crowd, and my competitor had very few people, but the press didn't report it that way. The press reported it like 2 speeches. We had a competitor that decided to challenge me with the crowds, and he failed very badly. From what I hear, he had less than 1,000 people. And we had a packed arena, and we had probably 25,000 people outside of the arena. It was an incredible night in Texas, I can tell you that. It was really amazing. But as I'm going on stage to speak, they're telling me about the committee came out with a deal. And, you know, they went over it very briefly. Then I went over it briefly last night, but it was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I can't say I'm happy. I can't say I'm thrilled. But the wall's getting built. Regardless, doesn't matter, because we're doing other things beyond what we're talking about here. So we'll see what happens. We're having a meeting on it later. It's really obstruction. The Democrats want everybody to be able to come into our country. We have many criminals. When you look at the numbers of criminals that are nabbed, I mean, I'm looking at numbers that are incredible. This card was just given to me by Secretary Nielsen. And assaults, 99,000 assaults. Larceny, 40,000. Burglary, 25,000. Fraudulent activities, 25,000. Damage and stolen property, 17,000. Sex offenses, 13,552. Sexual assaults, 10,468. That's sexual assaults on people that live in our country, by people that are coming illegally across our borders. In many cases, people that have come before I became president. What happens is we are working very hard. We're getting rid of tremendous numbers of MS-13. And the Democrats don't like us to get rid of MS-13. Now, you figure that one out. These are violent people, and they don't like us to get rid of MS-13. So, robberies, 11,177. Kidnappings, 4,112. Murders, 3,914. Okay? So these are people that ICE is dealing with, and nobody can deal with them more effectively. There's probably no group in this country that does so much and it's really so little respect or love as ICE. It's really a terrible thing. They're doing an incredible job. One other thing I might want to say is that anti-Semitism has no place in the United States Congress. And Congressman Omar is terrible, what she said. And I think she should either resign from Congress or she should certainly resign from the House Foreign Affairs Committee. What she said is so deep-seated in her heart that her lame apology, and that's what it was lame, and she didn't mean a word of it, was just not appropriate. I think she should resign from Congress, frankly. But at a minimum, she shouldn't be on committees, certainly that committee.
Will you sign Congress's border deal?
I have to study it. I'm not happy about it. It's not doing the trick, but I'm adding things to it. And when you add whatever I have to add, it's all going to happen where we're going to build a beautiful, big, strong wall that's not going to let criminals and traffickers and drug dealers and drugs into our country. It's very simple. It's very simple. We're building a wall. And now I'm saying we're finishing a wall. We just started a big, big section on the Rio Grande. You probably saw it. Some of you were there when they started. You went there, you didn't believe it. You went there, you see trucks all over the place. You said, hey, he's not kidding. I don't kid. I never kid about construction. I love construction. And I know how to do it for the right price. And we're getting a beautiful looking structure that's also less expensive to build and works much better. That's a good combination of events because it was crazy what they were putting up. In fact, I happen to think that the walls that they were building were so unattractive and so ugly that walls got bad names, okay, if that means anything. But they were so ugly with rusted steel and big ugly plates on top that were all tin canned. It's called tin canned where they're wavy because the heat makes them expand and contract, and they tin can. I said, why didn't you paint the steel? Well, sir, we save money by not painting it. I said, yeah, but it's going to rust. You have to paint. I've ordered a lot of steel. I've never seen in my whole life steel come to me that was unpainted. This can only happen at the border. It wasn't me. It was our past geniuses. So I can tell you that, am I happy at first glance? I just got to see it. The answer is no, I'm not. I'm not happy. But am I happy with where we're going? I'm thrilled because we're supplementing things and moving things around and we're doing things that are fantastic and taking from far less important areas. And the bottom line is we're building a lot of wall. Right now we're building a lot of wall. And you think it's easy? We're building in the face of tremendous obstruction and tremendous opposition from a small group of people. Now, one thing that happened that was, I think, very revealing, we had the biggest and best border agents and experts come up and see the committee. And they said, more than anything else, you need a barrier, you need a wall. And the recommendation was unacceptable to the committee. So that tells you more than anything else. I don't think you're going to see a shutdown. I wouldn't want to go to it now. If you did have it, it's a Democrat's fault. And I accepted the first one, and I'm proud of what we've accomplished because people learned during that shutdown all about the problems coming in from the southern border. I've always accepted it. But this one, I would never accept if it happens, but I don't think it's going to happen. But this would be totally on the Democrats. Okay?
So, Mr. President, are you saying that you may amend and send back the proposed compromise, or that you may grudgingly accept it and then move forward with
It's always nice to negotiate a little bit, right? So, you know, whatever you get. But I would hope that there won't be a shutdown. I am extremely unhappy with what the Democrats have given us. It's sad. It's sad. They're doing the country no favor. They are hurting our country very badly. But we certainly don't want to see a shutdown. But you'll be hearing fairly soon. The bottom line is on the wall. We're building the wall. And we're using other methods other than this. And in addition to this, we have a lot of things going. We have a lot of money in this country. And we're using some of that money, a small percentage of that money, to build the wall, which we desperately need. Not at this moment. We have our people over there now. I just got a report. Things are going well with China. China wants to make a deal very badly. I want it to be a real deal, not just a deal that makes, cosmetically looks good for a year. We have a chance to really make a deal, a real deal with China. We've never been in this position before. We've always been the lame duck, and we're not the lame duck anymore. We've gone up tremendously in value as a country, in economic value, tremendously. Larry, we've gone up, 11 trillion, 14 trillion, and China's gone down close to 20 trillion since we started this whole.
Worst performing stock market in the world.
Say it?
China, worst performing stock market in the world.
Has anybody ever heard of Larry Kudlow? That voice, I hear that voice, and you think money, right, Larry?
Thank you, sir.
So I didn't even know that. That's China, he said, is the worst performing stock market right now in the world, and we don't want that. We want China to do what we want, and that's because of us. And have to be one of the best performing stock markets, but we are the best performing country. And we have a lot of potential for further growth. So we're doing very well over in China. Our people are there, the people very well. And I think we're going to have some good answers. I think either way, I'm happy. I'm happy either way. I could live receiving billions and billions of dollars a month from China. China never gave us 10 cents. It was always the opposite way. Now they're paying billions of dollars a month for the privilege of coming into the United States and honestly taking advantage of our country. So we'll see how it works out. But at some point, I expect to meet with President Xi, who I have a lot of respect for and like a lot, and make the parts of the deal that the group is unable to make. That's the way deals happen.
Will the March 1st deadline slide, do you think?
Well, thus far, I've said, as you know, the tariffs tick up for us. In other words, we take in much more money because the tariff, and there's nothing they can do that's comparable. So it's not like tit for tat. The tariffs kick in, they go up. Right now, they're paying 25% on $50 billion, okay? And they're paying 10% on $200 billion. So we have $250 billion. We have $267 billion that we were very nice about and we're not taxing. On the $200 billion, we're paying the 10%. The 10% on $200 billion goes up to 25% on March 1st. And so far, I've said don't do that. Now, if we're close to a deal where we think we can make a real deal and it's going to get done, I could see myself letting that slide for a little while. But generally speaking, I'm not inclined to do that. Okay?
Sir, were you aware?
Congress sent you a deal that you disagree with. Would you consider declaring a national emergency to build the wall?
I consider everything. I'm considering everything. We already have national emergencies out there. President Obama, President Clinton, President Bush, they've declared many national, this is not unique, they've declared many national emergencies. Many, many. And you have some out there that we can use in addition to one that we can declare if we want to do it. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.